Greetings, world. I invite you to join me in confronting life's greatest enemy.
Welcome to the global broadcast of Still Death, confronting our inevitable enemy. To learn how you can overcome death forever, stay tuned or log on to RameshRichard.com. Here's author, international speaker, and spiritual philosopher, Dr. Ramesh Richard.
Thank you for joining me on this quick journey of solving the greatest problem facing the human race. On winning the ultimate war with the inevitable enemy, death. You heard me right, death, like in the opposite of birth. A man had the strange habit of checking the obituary column in his daily newspaper to see if his name was there. Satisfied that it wasn't, he proceeded to go on to have a good day. On this morning, however, as he scanned the obituary column, he was shocked to find his name there. He calls the newspaper editor, vehemently protests in distress, and the newspaper editor calmed him down and said, sorry, sir, we apologize. In order to make up for the mistake of placing your name in the death column today, we will place your name in the birth column tomorrow. The man said, that'll make up for the mistake. Death. That's humanity's incontrovertible mystery. The incredible problem. The inevitable enemy. If you stay tuned today, I want to give you some great news of how the death killer has crushed killer death. Because while the subject on the surface shakes you and perhaps scares you, if you look into it, I'm going to give you a message that stirs you and shapes you. You forever, your life forever. If I didn't tell you this, you'd hate me later on. I come as a dying man to a dying world to speak on how the death killer destroyed death and brought life incorruptible forever into the full view of the human race. I want to first talk about killer death before I introduce you to the death killer. The fables come from the Middle East in a stable of wisdom of a merchant who ran into death in the great city of Baghdad. That day in the market, death looked at him and said, I'm going to meet you tonight. He rushed into the Grand Vizier's office and said, sir, I need to borrow your horse. Death met me in the market. I want to run away to distant Samarra where I can escape death. The Grand Vizier lent him his horse and he fled swiftly to faraway Samarra. That evening at the market, the Grand Vizier came across Death and asked Death, why did you startle my servant this morning about death tonight? And Death said to the officer, I was the one startled to see him in Baghdad because I have an appointment with him in distant Samarra. I speak to a world that experiences death. In fact, every second, it's two people who die. Two have just met their appointment with death. And so, like a medical doctor alerts his patient in duty and respect for the patient to make his own decision, I bring you something of tremendous value to tell you your genetic situation and your eventual destination, but not without giving you hope of the death killer who will crush killer death and give you life. Killer death. We all die. People may question all sorts of things, but that question will not be ever erased. People write questions and observations and comments on our website, but one question I welcome you to ask is if we will die. That would not be a good question. A North African thinker says at the celebration of a baby's birth, people may discuss whether the baby is going to be tall or short, handsome or ugly, rich or poor. But one question they will not discuss is whether he will die.